foundation. Another course record, Nottingham Rowing Club beat Tagway Scullers School. So it was Charlotte Brown and Lucy Holgate will be celebrating in that. And that race that we just saw, J16 Cox 4, it was for the West End ARA and it was Putney High School by 2.5 lengths in a time of 5 minutes and 30.
And a humdinger for you now. So this is the Senior 8s off the start. And this Senior 8s event, both of these crews did a record time in the semi-final. And both of these crews did the same time in the semi-final, in fact. And I was on the launch for Molesey's semi-final. So did see them execute a marvellous race against a crew from the USA. And this is for the GP Jeffries Challenge Cup, sponsored by Simmons and Sons, and this is what I predicted would happen. Now, Molesey have been the favourites in this event all season, and they are stroked by an under-23 silver medalist. They're backed up by an ex-Washington athlete and also another under-23 capped athlete in Ruth Wyman in the 6th seat, and they came to this regatta. I said this in the semi-final as well. Their coach said, we are going to get the course record for this. Before they even knew that course records were falling, we're going for the course record. And look at that, a length already, a length and a quarter at the 500 metre point.
Absolutely wonderful rowing from the start. It really is.
And I mean, Newcastle.
We're looking at some fantastic athletes here. Every year I say this, but every year it just gets better and better. And you can see from this wonderful drone footage.
Oh, look at the puddles there. That is just beautiful, isn't it?
Big. Big puddles.
And, you know, credit to Newcastle, another crew in a final. You know, that's their third crew we've seen in a final today. And in a senior event again, you know, they're not entering, well, they obviously won academic 8s, but 2 senior finals for them in this regatta as university students. And look, that's probably about 2 lengths now to the crew from Molesey Boat Club. And Molesey, as I say, such talent in that crew. They're coxed by Morgan Bain and Williams, of course, who previously Oxford Blue coxed her crew through that absolutely atrocious water in the boat race in 2015, I want to say, so it wasn't last year, it was the year before. And, you know, here she is, taking her girls down the track in this Molesey crew, and she was also part of that under-23 silver medal winning crew. So
she was
very experienced.
Started out at Ross Rowing
Ross on Wye, indeed she did, just down the road from myself. So no, and I'm sure the guys at Ross on Wye will be watching this as well. You know, they're all very proud of Morgan.
They're hugely proud of her.
They're very proud of Morgan, and you know, she's done a fantastic job, and she will be so aggressive in this. You know, even though they're so far in front, they've got, you know, almost 3 lengths now on the crew from Newcastle University. Morgan will not let up. She will execute this race plan from start to finish until that bound ball's crossed the line. And they won at the Met Regatta last week by 9 seconds. So they were in a world of their own, going as fast as they can. And that's exactly what they're going to do again. And just look at the sort of power. Once they've locked on, look at that lock on from the catch that they get. And, you know, so patient through the drive, but that really aggressive sort of lock on and drive, and then patience into the back end. That they have absolutely left Newcastle for dust, and I'm not surprised, to be honest. You know, Newcastle have done very well to get to this final, but Molesey Boat Club, favourites from before the regatta, favourites going into the regatta, and favourites here again, I think, for a course record, I would hope, as they set one in the semi-final, and they didn't do this wonderful wind that they're sort of performing for us now. And
as you say, Morgan will be winding them up now with about 80 metres to go. But it's, you know, the water's just wonderful for records, and in that junior doubles, Holgate and Brown, the previous record was 6 minutes and 3 seconds, and they've now reduced it to 5 minutes and 41. I mean,
almost 20 seconds. No,
well,
no, more than 20 seconds.
You don't do maths, do you?
There you go, more than 20 seconds. And we're talking of doubles. We're back up. And I'm actually going to love you and leave you, everyone. So,
well, you were saying yesterday, of course, how you need to get round to all of the social events.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people here I've enjoyed catching up with, and including yourselves. Actually, it's been great to be back in the commentary box, and the coverage this year has been so fantastic. So, just a thank you from me as well to everyone who's been, you know, producing this and filming this and on drones and everything like that, because it's been exceptional, and I enjoy coming to this event every year. So I'm going to hand you back over to Martin, and I'm sure I'll see you all next year.
Camilla, thank you very much indeed, and I will miss you a great deal as I've got to put up with G. Davis now. Greg, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are we? Are you taking your burger away? Yeah, I would.
Well, I'm gonna throw it away.
Greg will only steal
Well, let's
it.
get back to
Yes,
the race.
what have we got? What have we got?
We've got senior doubles here, something that I know that you will want to talk about. Well, you want to talk about everything all the time, I do know that. But we've got the senior doubles here between, on our near side, Leeds Rowing Club in York City Composite, and on the far side to us, the Buckinghamshire Station, Bath University B. And it's the Bath University, Martin, that's led off the start.
Yeah, we're about third of the way down, so 500 metres in, moving away from us now, some 600 metres, and they've got a decent lead now, probably some 2.5 to 3 lengths. And as you can see from the overhead shot, they're sat in a position where they can just respond to anything, any attack that might come. So they're sat out front, they've done the hard work. At the start of the race, top of the island, they had a lead. They've extended that lead now. They're moving through the enclosures down to, roughly speaking, the halfway point.
And this is probably a time to just come back to that last race, that senior eights, where Molesey looked so strong, and of course, as we've come to expect today, have broken the course record. They went through that in the GP Jeffreys Memorial Trophy, sponsored by Simmons and Sons. They won by 4.5 lengths, new course record of 4 minutes and 40, taking 8 seconds off the previous record. Fantastic.
4 minutes 40, wow, fastest time of the day, yeah, would be. Yeah, very, very impressive indeed. Okay, and also impressive is the lead at the moment that Bath have in this, the final. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races left, yeah. This is the senior double sculls.
So it was a record in the heat.
And the senior double sculls. 5:23 Bath set in the semi-final. The previous record was 5:47. Leeds York went over in 5:30. So 5:23 to beat the record they set earlier in the day in their semi-final. And you can see here that they are pushing their way now down towards the finish. There's probably about a minute left of sculling here.
Boat speed looks tremendous. There's hardly any dip in the stern at all, and that's where, if you are rowing really well, you don't get that dip in the stern. And as you can see there, the technique is such that the boat is just flowing. The boat speed's not being checked at all. There's no brakes coming on it at all. They look a very, very fine double.
They do indeed. The next race up is the Junior Cox Fours. This is Henley Rowing Club up against Godolphin Latimer. After that we have Vesta against the Lee in the Senior Cox Fours. Elite Singles, Glover of Warrington up against Pippa Whittier from Imperial. And then the penultimate race of the day is the Junior Quads, Gloucester Hartbury up against Isle of Ely. And then the Elite Eights will be the final race of the afternoon. Great.
So you'll be getting quite excited now, because you always get excited when Henley Rowing Club
I do, yeah.
are on the river.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know a lot of the people involved in there. You know how much dedication goes into producing these absolutely wonderful, wonderful athletes. And you'll probably also know that they are the most feared cyclists on the towpath. The Henley Rowing coaches. You don't want to go anywhere near a towpath if the Henley Rowing coaches are on it. So it's a good sight there of Henley on the near side and Godolphin Latimer on the far side. Actually, both of these crews beat American crews in the semi-finals. Godolphin Latimer beat St Paul's School. St Paul's School actually one of the fancied boats for this competition. And Godolphin Latimer the Henley Rowing Club beat Mary on Mercy academy, and it was Godolphin Latimer who were the faster of the 2 times. But you should know that there wasn't much in it, so this should be a cracking race, and I would expect Henley to go off pretty quickly. They usually have a really good start. It'd be interesting to see if Godolphin Latimer can stay with them. There we are, just winding up. The hardest thing you can do is to get that boat moving. Now, actually, do you think Godolphin Latimer perhaps had the better start there? Really?
No, it's the camera angle, he says. I don't know.
Hopefully.
It's hard to say, isn't it?
You've never allowed a camera angle to stop you from making a decision.
Don't get a good story get in the way. You're right. It is Godolphin Latimer that have a lead of about 3/4 length off the start here, ahead of this Henley Cox 4. Probably of the boats they were racing this weekend, they had 4 in the semis, 2 made the final. It was probably the one they fancied the most to medal. Their junior quad, they're still mixing personnel up a little bit, so whether that will be the Henley quad at the end of the day, Henley Royal Regatta for the Jubilee Cup, I don't know. However, these 4 girls find themselves in a sweep or event with a Cox, and it's Godolphin Latimer that have a lead at the moment. They've gone out pretty strong of Godolphin, but I think Henley are coming back on terms here. If I'm not mistaken, they did this in a previous round, Henley. They just sort of got into the race, and I think the psyche of the opposition is maybe, right, let's go off the start like mad and see if we can get out front and hang on. As they come now past us, it looks as if there's not much to choose here, Greg.
No, and then Henley will be patient. They will know exactly how far there is to go on this course, so they know when they can begin to put a push in, and it jolly well looks as though they've just done that right now. So they are within a canvas now, having been, I would say, more than half a length down. So they are absolutely coming back. And you will have seen the cyclists on the right-hand side of the picture there. They'll be yelling like mad. They're just about to hit the crowds, so they're going to have to stop, and we'll see what Henley can do without them. Henley have had a wonderful last 150 metres. And again, just look at the puddles here, and how much power is being put down for these junior girls. Just terrific. And this is going to be it because Godolphin Latimer have come back at them, and they're not going to let them go. But I would say that it's Henley. I know it's difficult to say they look relaxed, but if you look at their shoulders, I think they're more relaxed in the shoulders, and that will be important when we come to that last sprint, the last 200 metres.
However, it is Godolphin Latimer that are certainly putting in a bit of a push here, and if anything, they look to have a bit more pace, do they? It's difficult to say.
Boat speed, I would say,
yeah.
is
Henley
similar.
Yeah.
And Henley have still got that maybe they've gone down from a canvas to about 3 feet. Look at that blade work.
But cracking race,
wonderful.
Absolutely cracking race. The shot on the left there shows Ella Morgan in the bow. She's a student at the Henley College, had a terrific year. All she wanted was a GB vest, bless her, and she got one, went over to Munich, raced the pair with Mary Wright, come back with a gold medal there, and that was just such a brilliant result for her. And there's a girl that's just not the biggest in the world, but just worked at it so hard, and I'm really over the moon for Ella, particularly if she gets a win here. And at the moment, it's Henley that are up. Godolphin Latimer, I followed them in an earlier race. They put in some cracking performances. The standard's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, these young girls just wonderful.
Martin, these are girls who are combining academic work now.
Yeah.
They'll have exams, I would imagine, important exams, and they're just rowing and training it at the same time. The dedication is absolutely amazing.
Well, they're all going off, I think they're all of an age to go off to uni next year. I know that Ella wants to go to Oxford Brookes, and they should be very pleased to have her. And she'll only move on from there. That's great stuff.
That's a
really
great,
good. And that's
great shot.
that's a
isn't it?
mature performance, isn't it? Because Henley were under pressure here, and they had a bit of a go at them halfway down, and they've just kept their cool. Now the question is, have Godolphin Latimer got anything left in the
So
tank?
Godolphin Latimer have just started their sprint finish. I would be surprised if Henley haven't got something in the tank though, because they've rode beautifully throughout, and as I said earlier about being relaxed in the shoulders, they've responded now. They're sprinting away, and I think they're in control.
That's Henley. That's Henley. And yeah, well done Godolphin Latimer, and well done Henley Rowing Club, a gold. Good on you. Well done Chris Boothroyd. Right, this is a cracking race now. Looking at the semi-finals here, Greg, this is Vesta against the Lee Rowing Club, and it's Vesta on the Berkshire station, Lee on the furthest. There was literally a second in their semi-final times. The Lee were 1 second quicker, top of the island, Lee with a small advantage.
And yeah, both crews in the semis broke the existing record, so they are pretty tight. And I know something about the Vesta crew. There's a lovely lady in there who's got a family of oars people around them. And these two crews have been racing each other all season. And so far it's Lee that have come out on top. And at the moment, it's the length ahead. But let's go back to the previous race, where Godolphin Latimer had that lead.
Yeah, they did.
And Henley came back at them. So this is absolutely not over in any way at the moment.
So it's the Lee at the top of the island that had a lead, I suspect, a little bit more than they've got at the moment. They're just coming past us, which, as I say, is roughly speaking about 500 metres.
So in that Vesta crew is Ruth McKellar. Her dad rode for Scotland, her mum rode for Scotland, her sisters with the GB crew out at Caversham. Her brother was captain of boats at that wonderful academic institution called Shiplake College. So they are very much, they're all here, and they'll be yelling even now. And they're not letting them go, Martin, are they?
No, they're not.
Gone out and they're trying to stick with them.
Well, there's that overlap that we've spoken about, whether you break the cord or break the link, whatever you call it, but the distance between the tail of one boat and the bow of another, the stern. Yeah, I was going to say stern, but I decided to say tail. So the back end of one boat and the front end of the other is their overlap. Well, they don't want to break, do they? They just desperately want to hold on. As long as they can hold on, they're with a chance of the sprint. And then if they back their sprint, it looks like they're gaining. It looks like they're gaining. What a race.
Yeah, Vesta just put that push in. But the great thing of being ahead, of course, is you can see.
And respond to the push.
And respond to that push.
If you choose to.
Psychologically, you see, the thing is that Lee have won against Vesta all season. So psychologically, they're going to be up.
Yeah.
And Vesta are going to be a little bit down.
But they can have a look across now and see the boat, see who they're up against, as opposed to following them. They're now not far off, side by side. This is going to be a cracking finish, I can tell you. I predict. Well, this is too close to call. This race is certainly too close to call. You've got a wonderful shot there, and you can see that they're moving away. They're going down past the house that was Old Blades towards the grounds of Upper Thames, and still battling away. Look like a couple of matchsticks there in the distance, but there we are. There's a closer shot. Lee to the left of your screen, Vesta on the right. Lee, they've cranked it up, haven't they, Greg? Looks like they're going up through.
Actually, they've worked really hard in that first half of the race, because they're looking just a little bit more ragged now. And I wonder if you talked about front loading before.
Yeah, yeah.
If Vesta's got anything left, this is the time they need to bring it back. And there you can
Here
see
they
that
come.
they have.
Here they come.
They're looking the better crew at the moment.
Well, the Lee are the Lee are starting to look over, thinking, oh, go away, and they won't go away. They're hanging in there. They really are hanging in, and they would have one last camera shot, which takes us right to left and up to the finish. So they are now just passing Upper Thames, and here they come.
And beginning to sprint.
And the Vesta, what have they got? What have they got? They can do this. They could do this. Now the Lee, have they gone to? Oh, there's plenty of splashing. 1,500 metres, and they've been pushed all the way.
They are
And it
looking
looks
over.
like the Lee.
They've just done enough, haven't they?
The Lee have, yeah, they've actually tided their sprint up. What a great race!
Fantastic race. What a pleasure.
What, yeah,
What a pleasure.
brilliant.
For two old codgers to come and watch a race like that.
Well done them. Well done you. Right, singles. Oh, Greg, do some results.
Well, some results from the senior double for the Rosie May-Glothling Trophy, sponsored by Tim and Sarah Lohman. Bath University B beat Leeds Rowing Club by 3.5 lengths in a time of 5 minutes 23, which equals the course record. In that Junior 4, where my colleague here got very excited in the